Alright, so now that you've set up Firebase, now I'm going to teach you how to connect your Node.js with Firebase into Firebase. So the first thing you need to do, and again I'm referencing this document was recently updated, so just make sure you have the latest, just download the latest version in Blackboard. This is Practical 7, which is on the custom backend. So if you notice here, um, here basically we need to install this library. Okay, so I recommend you just use the same project that you used to upload to Heroku previously, the one that's working. Make sure you test that it's working, and use that same project. No need to create a new one, so that to make it a little bit simpler, right? Because that thing is already working. Okay, so what we're going to do now is install Firebase here. And so if you are in Visual Studio Code, okay, so from Visual Studio Code, make sure you are inside your app folder, and all you need to do is just install that. So, okay, so you just have to copy and paste this. Let me just do that. Just copy this and paste this. Okay, I think there's something wrong with this. It should be dash dash save. There has to be 2 dashes. Okay, I'm not sure why. Okay, so it should be, okay, and let me clear that. Okay, should be npm install firebase dash admin dash dash save. Okay, so that's been installed. Okay, and you can check that as well. If you ever go into package.json, you should see now firebase admin to be right there. All right, so that's the first thing. So the next thing is, let's just move on. So the next thing we need to do is okay, so we've already set this up, right? So the next thing you need to do is just to copy this code. Okay, so we've already set this up, so I'm not going to repeat this. Okay, so this has been done. Okay, so now we're going to be creating our route. We're going to be creating our route now to work with this. And so for this route class, I need your data to look something like this. Okay, so this is actually in the document. So this is basically a JSON file. So if the previous document had it in a slightly different structure, but I modified it to make it a little bit simpler to understand, because the previous one was a little bit confusing to explain. So this is a lot simpler to actually read and write to. Okay, so basically it's basically very simple. You have a key called definitions. Inside it you have artificial intelligence, database data science, and decision model. Okay, so a lot simpler structure. Okay, so this one you can find this from the document. So if you go inside the new updated document, you should see that I placed all the text there. You can just copy and paste that into a JSON file, which you can actually just import into. So let me just show you how to do that. All you have to do is just copy this, right? Copy that, go into Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if you can go into Visual Studio Code here, just create a new file. It's a temporary file here. Just, oh, it has some numbers. Oh no, it doesn't have. So if I save this, I'm just save as. I'm just gonna call this. Let me just place it somewhere I would know. Let's just call this definition.json. Okay, I've saved that. So I've saved it somewhere, and then inside here, if this is not the data you have, all you have to do is just import that data, right? Just import the JSON, look for the file. Okay, definition, to just open that, and then import. There you go. Okay, so that's how you would do it. Maybe I'll put this particular file inside. I think I just failed to I think the issue is I failed. Okay, this was missing a quote. All right. Okay. So now we have imported it. Okay. So we've imported now this data. So the next step is just write the route to actually test this. Okay. So if you look at the data here. Okay. So if you look at the data, I have the code right here. Okay. So the route is this one right here. So this is the updated one. Okay. So basically you want to just copy this. Okay. And just place this inside your, okay, so you have it right here. Okay, so I just placed it right here after my first route. So this is the code. It's very short, as you can see. All it does is it will actually retrieve this particular parameter. Okay, so it could be data science or data mining or whatever term it is. You would retrieve that, and then you would it will basically make it lowercase. It will basically read it and then make it lowercase. Okay, so this two lowercase will make it lowercase because case is very important in JavaScript. Then this one here will get a reference to a particular key. So in this case, this path here has to match whatever is in Firebase. So in this case, definitions is the root key, right? And then put a slash, and then here is the child key. Okay, now why is that so? Why is that so? It's actually pretty simple. It's because here you see that the root key is definitions, and then I'm just referring to whatever the term is. So the spelling and the case has to be exactly the same. So definition slash this guy here. And you can see this once I click on this. Look at this. You see? It's actually definition slash artificial intelligence. Right? So that's basically this path is just like following this the keys. That the child key is just following the path syntax. All right, So it's just, so I'm basically trying to reference this one here, data mining, data science, or whatever term is being chosen. Okay, so that's the reason why you have a slash there. Okay, you can actually just make sure the path matches whatever you want to read. So how do you read the value? So the next question there is, okay, well, if I got the path correctly, how do I read the value? Okay, so the value refers to this thing right here, right? So artificial intelligence, data mining are all keys. Data science a key, definitions a key. But some keys will have a particular value. Like in this case, this value is a string, right? It's a string value. So what if I want to read this? I want to read this. Well, to read this, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is use the function on, place this string here called value. This indicates that you're going to be reading a value. Then you're going to be you will have what you call a function callback. All right, function callback. So once the value is read for this particular reference, then this function will call back. So this function is going to be called. All right. So the syntax of this will be something like function snapshot. Okay. And then basically, snapshot will contain the value. Simple as that. Snapshot will contain the value. So again, all you have to do is provide a reference, no matter what it is. Make sure the reference, the spelling is correct. All right. And then you just provide it. You just set this up. Set a ref dot on, then put value there, comma. Then this is the function that will be triggered. So whatever is inside here will be executed now. Okay, it will be executed. So again, we have the value because snapshot, this thing here, snapshot, will actually contain the value. All right. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm actually reading the snapshot value using this syntax. So snapshot.val will contain the value of this of whatever reference you have chosen. Okay, so what I'm doing is after I've read it, I'm basically just responding it out, right? So it'll respond back to the client, and in this case, I'm following the syntax of Dialogflow, which is fulfillment text. description. Okay, so let's test that out. So if make sure this route is there, okay, and then again, all of these things, these are like requirements for the Firebase database, right? So let's test this now. Okay, so we will just test locally first. Again, test everything locally first. Okay. Okay, so now I'm in the folder, app folder, right? So let me run now node app.js, node app.js. Okay, so I have this port. So let's go ahead and test this now in Chrome. Okay, so I'll just go here to HTTP, put the port, and this one is, so make sure you follow the route, definition/term. So it'll be definition, right? Following the route, /term. What is term? Let's give one term. One is classifiers. Let's see. Okay, it's not displaying anything. How about data science? Let's see. Data science. Ah, there. We don't have a classifier, sorry. So now it's data science. We can also put here. By the way, you can notice that's a %20 showing up here. That is in the web. That spaces will be converted to some special code. But don't worry, spaces will still be understood by a route. Okay, so data science. I believe we have. What else do we have here? Let's check. What else can we test? We have. Okay, so everything here we have a space, but you could also have something without spaces. That's fine. So let's just put here artificial intelligence. There you go. See? So no matter what you put there, as long as the key matches, it will read the key and it will display out the description. So you can already see this will be the foundation for our lookup bot, right? Or our definitions bot. Okay? Obviously, you can add more things to this, right? So again, if I want to add something here, I can actually use this plus sign. This will add a child key. So it'll be something like this. So let's say put here classifiers. Make sure the spelling is correct. Classifiers, and then let's look at the glossary. I actually took this from the Dialogflow glossary. Okay, so this is a glossary. Let's just look for classifiers here. What's the meaning of classifier? Okay, I think it's not showing up. Wait, let me just scroll down. I believe it was here. Oh, nothing. That's strange. I thought it was there last time. That's strange. Okay, never mind. Let's just put in maybe this one, context. So you can actually just place something. Let's just replace this. Context, and then we can place here. Just copy this. All right. Okay, so just click add. See? So you can add as many as you want. You can add 1,000, 10,000 items there if you want. Okay. And so it's as simple as that. All right. So let's move on here. Okay, so now that we have that, so let's just test that one more time. So this one is let's just have here context. Okay, so there, see? So as you update the database, you will see it becomes smarter and smarter, right? It will have a lot more information to work with. So it's in the cloud, so it's very dynamic. Okay, so that's basically it. So make sure that's working first. Make sure that's working first. And now if you got that working, let's move on. Okay, so the next step will be, so we've just tested the route. Okay, so the next step would be to make the route for Heroku, right, and for our chatbot. And so last meeting or the last video, I believe I used this route called /chat for the fulfillment route. Okay, and so you'll notice it is the same thing. Okay, so in this case, what I'm going to do, okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add now the chat to be compatible with Dialogflow. And so we're going to upload this to Heroku, and we're going to use this route called /chat, which is, I believe, is the same route I used last time. In this case, I'm just going to copy. So this code is right here. So let me just talk about this code. You'll notice that this code is exactly the same, except that we are going to be reading this entity, this parameter name called term. Okay, we're going to be reading this. So this is the important one. Okay, so we assume it'll be term. We have to call it term, and then basically instead of us putting it into the as a parameter in the route, we're going to read it from this Dialogflow post request term, and we're going to replace it here, right? But other than that, it's exactly the same. Okay, so let's look at it in code now. So as you can see, I have it right here in code. Okay, I'm reading it here, same, it's the same code. And basically what will happen is once I get a reference, I'm going to get a reference to definitions key slash the term, whatever the term is. Is it context? Is it data mining? Is it Dialogflow? Whatever term it is, I'm going to get a reference to that key. Okay, and then I'm going to again use this function, right? Read the value. It'll the value, this thing will be triggered, this function will be triggered, and I can use this snapshot now because this will contain the value, and then I just send back the response. That's simple, right? It's super simple. Look how short that code is. It's super simple. Okay, and so let's test this now. So again, I recommend you test all of these things in Postman. You have to test this in Postman and test it locally first. Let's quickly test this locally. That is the first test. So is it running now? I think it's not running, so let's just run this again. Okay, I'm just gonna run this port. I'm gonna open this up in Postman. Okay, so you can see it is actually running here. Now, you probably are wondering, so what is this thing here? What is this? What is this information? Well, actually, in the practical, I actually ask you to create the intent. Sorry, I ask you to create the intent to be able to handle this. So let me quickly show you. All right. So that you have some data to test with. So in Dialogflow, okay. So in Dialogflow, I actually created an intent called get definition. Okay, so this is as also shown in the practical, and basically I tested it with this type of or I trained it with this type of query. What is the meaning of artificial intelligence? What is the meaning of annotations in the Dialogflow? Just train it with that, and then I actually use this term. I use this parameter, right? I annotated it with sys.any. This is sys.any, and I call the parameter term, right? Such that when I test it here, what is the meaning of data science, right? Okay, so right now nothing is available yet, but you can see that I can use this diagnostic info, right? Either this or this request. I can just copy copy all of this stuff, right? Just copy it, because this is the request from Dialogflow to your fulfillment. This is the information sent by Dialogflow to your fulfillment. And look at that. You can see that there is this data science term there. This is all the information being sent out. This is the query text. This is information sent from Dialogflow to fulfillment. And so if you want to test Dialogflow, like Dialogflow is working, even though it is not, you can copy this, right, and put it in Postman. So in Postman, what you do is you paste it here, okay? So basically under this JSON raw, and then this under body, actually, sorry, under body raw and JSON, you are basically gonna paste this code right there. So I can do that again. See, I can actually just paste it, right? No matter what it is, it will simulate like Dialogflow is actually sending the information uh, to your fulfillment. But you see, in this case, it's not sending to Heroku. It is just sending locally, right? It is a simulation because I'm not really talking to Dialogflow, but this is like sample data that Dialogflow might send out. So if my route is running, let's just check if my route is running. So now it's running, right? It's running. I can click send here, and it will respond based on this information. You see, right? See? So it responds. So that's where I got this data. So make sure you test this locally first in Postman before you do anything else. Okay, make sure this is running properly. Now, once that is done, now if I go back to the practical here, okay, so this is the route, right? So basically, I asked you to also create the bot, the intent for this bot called get definition, which will basically just articulate. I just showed you a picture. It's very simple. Then you can test that, right? And so here I showed you to test the route in Postman, all right? And with this sample, this is the sample data, and it just shows you a bit of screenshot. But this video will also maybe give a clearer picture. Okay. So the next step is to upload to Heroku, right? So let's go and upload now to Heroku. Okay, so we go now to Heroku. Okay, sorry. I think I'm in the wrong. Let me go again to Heroku. So you have to go to that project that you have done that's working, right? If you didn't get that working, make sure you get that working first. Okay, so I believe I called it this one. I believe this is the one. Okay, you will see basically that is the one, even though I had two, so sometimes I get confused. But you can see that this that will have some sort of activity, and you'll know, it'll give you a clue which one did you use, right? But for sure, this is the one. So now I want to deploy it. Okay, so to deploy it, there's a bunch of steps here that you can just follow. So I'm just going to follow these steps. So just to click on that. So again, I'm just going to go into, I'm just going to go here and just go ahead and log in. Okay, so just log in. Right? Just follow the steps first, just for clarity. Okay, let me log in back again. Sort of lost my... Okay, so the next step would be, again, just just follow this, right? It's supposed to clone back to the source machine. So again, I'm going to go back here. Now I'm going to, since I'm logged in already, as you can see, just do that. Okay, so it's fine. So saying it already exists, not empty directory, because I already did this previously. Then I'm already inside the directory, so no worries. So now you can do these 3 steps, right? So git add dot. Okay, so now you can see that I did change a file here, and then now let's push it. Push. Okay, so let's wait for it to upload, and then we will do one more test before connecting it to Dialogflow. All right. Okay, so this is the website from last meeting. Okay, so just copy that. We're going to make the change in Postman now. Okay, so I'm just going to change this now. So that is /chat. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to post this information here. Let's see if it'll work. And there it goes. So it's actually working. It's sending for data science. In fact, you can also change it from here. So let's say context. I believe I have context here, right? Click. Okay, see that? So it's working. Okay, now when that's working, you test it locally, it's working. Then this one is the next step. It's working. Then it's just a matter of going to Dialogflow now, and it should be straightforward. So let's just go to Dialogflow. So this is Dialogflow now. I'm going to close this. So again, in my intent, what I'm going to do, the first thing I need to do is enable the webhook for this intent. All right. Make sure. So this one has the fulfillment has to be on. That's the first thing. Second thing is your fulfillment has to have the correct URL and route. Okay. So in this case, it's /chat in my case. Right. Make sure that it is enabled. You can see it has to be enabled. And you have, if it's not enabled, you have to save that. Okay. Okay. So that's it. So if that is done, then you can test it now from here. So what is the meaning of data science? There, see? So now your bot is coming back and answer now the question. What's the meaning of data science? Or let's say, can you define artificial intelligence? There you go. All right. So that's basically that. So if you understood this concept, this is super powerful because your database, as I say, right now we only have 5 entries, but this could easily be 5,000 entries, right? And you can structure your data in any way that you want, right? Maybe it will answer, you have a different key to store these definitions. You have another key to store another set of data, right? So the possibilities are endless, with just this. So please understand the concepts here, and I'm going to move on to demoing the same thing, but now in Cloud Functions. Okay, so till the next video,